everyone, this is a very quick recap. I'm Leslie with Colorist, the designer, inventor of the Rezin Art products. We just finished this piece, second layer. Here's a picture of the jar if you're wondering. It's a new epoxy paint system we've come up with. Now this is the piece we did last night, completely dry, and I'm going to sit down and go over this with you. This is just a very short recap. If you think I'm going to pour another layer on this, I'm in the mindset of thinking about it right now, but I'm not going to do it immediately in this piece. But if you saw the last night's video, I was a little worried with how much black was up here, and that the blushing lily and that violet wasn't going over there. So it looks like our flower, people are starting to say this is taking on the shape of like a floral, and I certainly agree, has lost some of its petal. Doesn't mean that somehow I couldn't incorporate color here. What's really interesting is, first of all, to start just with that center. Those cells held beautifully. I don't have my phone here, so I can't really show you the sparkle with the flashlight, but the cells, those purple cells, the violet is due to, let's see if I can point it with my little pointer here. I got a little bamboo skewer. You know, you see these little cells here, and that is from that stone coat white, with just a few drops of this put in some of the purple sapphire. Not the other way around. Don't mix up stone coat and then try to tint it with color. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is make your color, and all you need is just a couple drops. I think 3 drops of this in my mix. Now, around here, around the edges, some of that is also the stone coat. But if you remember, I mixed up just some interference violet. I just had it in this little container. Violet, just it looks like plain old white, but it's the violet mixed with the clear resin. So when it dried, we would get different effects. It lightened the shade of the color we were using, which is what you do to lighten shades. But if we look, I'm looking on camera here to find this area here. Over here and over here, even though you can see the transparency as the color coming through, I can also, it almost looks like a little ghost effect, where the violet, the interference violet, is creating a violet cast. I mean, you can see that center area, how wispy and pretty that is, creating that violet cast. Some of that's the stone coat color, but most of that is stone coat mixed with the purple sapphire. But this stuff that's giving you that really wispy, ghosty look is interference violet. And to have it in the exact same layer is pretty cool. Most people that are getting kind of that ghosty, ethereal, nebulous look, they're doing the interferences on another layer on top of other colors, where we incorporated it in our piece. So I'm on the fence. Part of me wants to celebrate, these look like little flower petals, celebrate, and most flowers in the center will have some of them have extra little pestils. I know some of the sunflowers do. They'll have, not pestils, they'll have extra baby petals, such as these, form around the center that has the pestils. So I'm on the fence what I want to do with this thing. Part of me wants to take some black acrylic paint and just, like, I have a definitive line right here. You can actually see the definitive line where the clear blew back over, and you see how that petal right here, if you want to call it a petal, that shape looks like it was poured on top of this, but it's not. It's using that clear on the outside and pushing it back and forward. This area had a lot of clear, and when I pushed it back in, it created, what it does is it pushes down some of the resin and pulls up some of the resin to a peak. And you're getting these interesting sections in here that clear creates, so you don't look like you just have one layer. I really am liking, again, there's more of that interference wispiness, the interference violet wispiness that we're getting all the way around. This is kind of an interesting little section. I mean, as far as looking at this as a study of what you might use for techniques in future projects, it's good. But I'm kind of, getting attached to this thing. So I might actually somehow try to finish out what color I think is missing here and somehow start to accentuate very loosely just the randomness of the petals. I know this looks a little bit strange, but I could probably shape it into two sections where it looks like one's on top and one's underneath. I'm going to think about this. I'm not going to rush to judgment on this piece. So this is simply a recap. Sorry for you, those of you that thought that this was, another video to put that on top. Sometimes you have to think about your pieces and decide what to do next. And I just wanted you guys to get a really good look at the patterns and the sections. I don't have a camera. I wish I had a camera that could just kind of scroll back and forth. I literally am going to have to move this for you. See this section here? Looks like little water droplets in there, and it looks like the paint is folding back on top right here. And actually it's a ridge, again, created from the clear coming from this end. This looks raised, this looks a little bit lower. Let's see, get some close-ups. There's that section that I was a little worried that the color didn't come out enough, and yet I like, just for it on its own aesthetic, that's an interesting look in that corner, what it did. So I'm going to try to move this slowly by hand, because again, I don't have the camera to sit and scroll over it. See those little purple cells? That's the stone coat mixed again. That wispy, wispy violet. There is that interference violet mixed with the resin. So hopefully this is giving you kind of a close-up of the entire piece. I'm going to set this down. If I can find my little holders properly. And leave you with this thought. What do I do next? Thank you for joining me, guys. I'll be posting this up right away so you can see the finished piece. Thanks.